The world is changing fast. Cities are growing and urban population is rising. The need for transport of people and goods are increasing, but so is congestion, air pollution, road accidents, and climate change. We need more mobility, but we have to do it in a smarter way. This is our scenario for the future. Outside the city, vehicles and autonomous trailers are operating within safe and confined areas. Electric vehicles are charged while goods are loaded. A driver enters to lead the connected convoy onto the public roads, where dedicated bus lanes should be used if possible. Autonomous connected trailers create safe, modular, and flexible vehicle convoys adapting to transportation needs. Adjusting to schedule updates, the flexible convoy, switching goods along the way, a mobile consolidation center. The transport system is enabled through an integrated cloud platform, connecting vehicles, people, infrastructure, and logistic partners. In the city, the sensors of the autonomous refuse truck detect all movements in the vicinity of the environment and reacts automatically to any potential incidents, making sure citizens are safe and preventing accidents before they happen. Bus platooning will improve efficiency and capacity in city public transportation. With silent, emission-free buses, we can bring public transport closer to people and even drive inside of buildings. This opens up completely new opportunities for city planning. Fast and efficient way of charging from the electric grid at the end terminal in just a few minutes. How do we build the cities and the infrastructure of tomorrow in a more sustainable way? The future is electric. Zero emission and low noise gives the electric compact excavator access to environmental zones in the city. Imagine a silent and emission-free city. Imagine a cleaner, safer, and more resource-efficient world without compromising our everyday life and health. The future is now, and we are ready.
So with this being said, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Hyder Wokil, Automation and Mobility Director of Volvo Trucks, who's going to be taking us through the journey of future trends and innovations. Mr. Wokil, please.
As Ian said, välkommen. This is the Swedish word for welcome, and this is the Volvo language as well. Very welcome to this evening. I hope that you are enjoying it so far. I do. My name is Hyder Wokil. I am located in Gothenburg in Sweden, working with automation and electromobility. I will guide you today through presentation that's about the future trends and innovation. Much of the Ian's presentation is here and now. I will take you in a journey in the future. And by the way, when we talk about the future, it's really difficult to predict what will happen in the future. And history tells us that a lot of people have made predictions that went wrong. But on the contrary, we have another examples. Some of you maybe remember there was a TV show in the late 1960s. It was called Star Trek. I'm that old. I was following this TV show. Each episode, I promise you. In that TV show, they exposed some future technologies that couldn't be feasible at that time. I'm thinking about the mobile phone, I'm thinking the tablet computer, the Bluetooth, the laser. 50 years later, it's becoming a part of our life. But today I will not take you that far in the journey. I will not take you 50 years from now. My outreach is much closer than that. It will be 2030. What will happen with our industry, the transport industry? What will happen then? Today we are facing some challenges. Let's start with them. One of them is the climate change. Looking into the CO2 emission that comes from the transport industry alone, that is about 14%. That's a global figure. If we look into our part of it, when it comes to the land transport of goods, 6% of these 4% is coming from the trucks alone. That has not only negative impact on the environment, but it has even a negative impact on the operational revenues as well, because we know that 1/3 of the fuel costs, or the operational cost, goes to the fuel cost. So when the prices for the fuel is just increasing. Another challenge that we are facing is the growing of the population around the world. In 2030, it's expected that it will be 1 billion more human beings compared with today. That will put a lot of pressure on the transport demand. And not only that, I'm sure many of you have been, the recent years, ordered something through the web, or what's called the e-commerce. It's just going up more and more and more in new levels. And the pattern we do the purchasing today on the web, we just put the order, we expect the next day or the blink of eye, the delivery will be at the doorstep. That will put a demand on increasing the transport as well. But in turn, that will cause a lot of noise, a lot of congestions, but even pollution for the cities. Because there we choose to live. Most of the people live in the big cities. So this will need to be addressed as a challenge as well. The third main challenge that we are facing is road safety. Looking into the statistics from the WHO, World Health Organization, the fastest growing threat to human health is coming from the traffic. And today it's ranked as number 10 when it comes to the number of deaths, or the causing the death in the world. It will move to the 5th place if nothing measured urgently will take in place in the coming period of time before 2030. That needs to be to addressed as well. So putting these challenges in mind, you start to build up a scenario how we will face these challenges. Here are some words when it comes to the transport. The transport should be safe, should be efficient, should be sustainable to face these challenges. By the way, when it comes to sustainability, it can be applied for the environment, but even on the social and economical aspects as well. But my focus will be only on the environmental sustainability. And looking on these words, they have even closely linked. Most likely, if you have a safe transport solution, it can be efficient as well, and vice versa. And we at Volvo Trucks has always relied on technology, on engineering, on science to bring up solutions for us. And we will use the same engineering, the same science, the same research programs to address these challenges. But we see in the same time there are so many megatrends that are going on. I'm thinking about the connectivity, automation, and electromobility. I will guide you through these 3 megatrends for the coming 20 minutes or so to see what benefit it brings to us as OEM, but even for our customers. Before we deep dive in this technology, I just want to say something when it comes to this technology. We don't innovate things just for the innovation's sake. We always innovate with a purpose. The technology that we develop should add values, should make differences. And when I say adding values, then I mean the main stakeholders that we have. These are our customers, the driver, and society as a whole. So it's by people, for people. Well, now moving to 2030, we dare to say that accidents will rarely happen then. And if it happens, it will be taking the headlines of the news. How we will get there, the question you will ask, because it's a dream scenario, of course. We will get there thanks to the connectivity and even the automation. Ian mentioned a lot how we invest a lot into the active safety systems today when it comes to the lane keeping support, to the lane changing support for the emergency braking. And we know that 90% of the accidents happens due to human factors. But with the help of the automation and connectivity, the truck will start to communicate even with the surroundings, not a standalone solution as we have today. By that I mean that the truck will start to communicate with pedestrians, with cyclists, with other road users. This is one part of the story when it comes to the surrounding the truck, but the truck will start even to communicate with the infrastructure to catch up the weather conditions, to catch up if there's any construction work ahead of the way, to change the route, to make it more optimal from fuel efficiency, but even from delivery time point of view. In the next video, I will show you one of the solutions we are working with when it comes to the communication between the truck and cyclist in this case. Let's take a look.
As our cities grow, more cyclists, pedestrians, and vehicles must share the roads, resulting in difficult and sometimes dangerous traffic situations. Volvo Trucks has now developed an entirely new technology which could eliminate the risk of accidents completely. This unique system is able to analyze and respond to a truck's surroundings. The technology allows a 360-degree scan of everything that happens in the vehicle's environment. The truck then analyzes the traffic around it. It also makes it possible to predict up to 5 seconds ahead what surrounding objects like people, cyclists, and other vehicles will do, even when moving. In a turn, a truck driver's field of view can be limited on the passenger side of the vehicle. But here, the system detects the approaching cyclist and warns the driver. If the driver doesn't stop, the truck brakes for him. By alerting the driver to risks and, when needed, taking over control of the vehicle, the system helps eliminate human error and the risk of accidents. The system will be ready for the market in 5 to 10 years' time.
Yeah. Again, safety is another word for Volvo, and Volvo is another word for safety. So we put a lot of efforts, a lot of resources in developing safety features that making differences on the road when it comes to the injuries, when it comes to the number of deaths. But we are working with other, or using the connectivity in other applications. One of them is to reduce the congestions on the road. We believe that the problem is not by adding more capacity for the infrastructure, by building up new lanes, new highways, new roads. We believe that the problem not there. The problem is sometimes that we are all using the roads in the same time. If we are spreading the usage of the road, then we use the capacity much better. One of the solutions that we are working with is delivery of peak hours, delivery in the night. We have a good experience from cities like London, like New York, but even Stockholm, delivering goods at the night. But that put a requirement on our products to be quiet when it comes to the residential area. And we see that electricity will bring values for these customers who choose to work during the night and reducing the traffic. And reducing the traffic, by the way, during the day has even benefits when it comes to the better optimization of the energy because there is no congestion at the night, improving the safety, especially for small kids, the cyclists, they are not there during the night. And we have done some investigation for some of the trucks that are running in Stockholm during the night, asking the people living in the neighborhood if they have gotten disturbed by the truck. One of the amazing answers, they said that, no, we didn't get disturbed by the truck, but we got disturbed by the trolleys that transport beer bottles because they start rattling and then they get disturbed from that noise instead. Ian talked about predictive maintenance. Again, it's used by what's called telematic gateway. By the way, by default, all our trucks for the new FH, the new FM, since 2013, by default, they are already, all of them are contactable. By that I mean they have already the device to be contacted in the truck, coming out from our factories. These telematic gateways, you as customers have been using it, as Ian described, to check the position, the fuel consumption, the loads, and other functions. We use the same technology in the workshop. And by that, our technicians at the workshop can monitor the trucks for you and see if there is any component, vital component that goes to failure. Then the technician will contact you, bring the truck, change this component. But our ambition is not there. We bring it to a higher level again. We have plans that the truck will start to analyze the failure. Once it's serious failure, then maybe the solution to decrease the efficiency of the engine to bring you to the workshop. The truck will take this decision. The truck will book a technician. The truck will order the spare parts to be available at that time slot, and it will do the booking for the time slot. This is how we will see in the future the truck will do. It's a smart truck. And we have a lot of experience, by the way, when it comes to this from US, because in US we don't have only the 4 or 5 components that Ian mentioned, the brakes and the clutch and the air dryer and the compressor. We have a lot of experience from US when we have seen that the prediction time has been reduced by about 70%, because you know already before the truck will show up what failure I have on the truck. And even the repair time have been reduced with about 22%. Let's take a look on the movie how a future truck will be in the future with that aspect.
Welcome to a connected future. A world where 50 billion devices are able to communicate with each other. Trucks are no exception. Thanks to connectivity, zero unplanned stops are now everyday life for truck drivers and haulage owners worldwide. The vehicle has become an intelligent business partner, able to think for itself and do everything in its power to maximize productivity. Just like a human, the truck is now concerned for its own welfare and monitors its health in real time. The truck can self-repair minor faults and raise the alarm in the event of any major problems. But of course, sometimes a visit to the doctor, or in this case the workshop, is still needed. To be as effective as possible, the truck itself plans this appointment automatically, always scheduling it at a time that is convenient for the owner. For instance, during a lunch break or overnight. This also eases the workshop's daily planning. The service can be done at any workshop suited to that particular transport assignment. What's more, in this connected future, trucks can continuously update their software remotely, whenever an upgrade is available. The truck can adjust the performance of its systems or components depending on the transport assignment, like if the truck needs more horsepower, for instance, or if the transport assignment will take place in tough road or weather conditions. To further increase transport efficiency, each truck is customized to the driver's individual driving style and the type of transport task it undertakes, which means more fuel savings and less wear and tear on the vehicle. Connected trucks are in the process of revolutionizing the transport industry. By eliminating all unpleasant surprises during an assignment, connectivity heavily increases productivity and maximizes uptime for any haulage company.
Yeah, indeed. Zero unplanned stop is one of our vision. Thanks. And maximizing uptime. Oh. Yeah. Now, jump into another area that there is a lot of buzzword about. It's the automation. For reasons I hope that you understand, we do a lot of development in the close by where our engineers are located. That's in Sweden. We do a number of projects, some of them research, some of them getting quite advanced in this research. One of them is the autonomous refuse truck. As you see, this truck is not a normal refuse truck. There are a lot of sensors. As you see in the animation before, that once the system is activated, the truck will do the reversing following the driver, while the driver collecting the garbage from the bins. The benefits for this is mainly three, because you increase the productivity. You don't need to jump in and out to move the trucks and replace it. The second one is the safety, because as long as the driver is on the rear end of the truck, has the full visibility what is happening behind, no risk that you will hit something you don't see. And the third one is improving the working environment for these guys. In Europe, the retirement age is about 60 to 65 years. Mostly of these drivers, of these people, are not getting to this age due to problems with their knees, with their shoulders, because they need to jump in and out. So they are welcoming this type of technology. Another project that we are working in when it comes to the self-driving trucks, this is a pure self-driving trucks, by the way. It's working in a mine in Sweden, around 1,300 below the surface in a tunnel, doing the transport between point A to point B, pre-programmed path, loading on point A, unloading at point B, and so on. The reason that we do it, it's improving the productivity. In some cases, in this case for the Boliden, it increased the productivity with factor 3, tripling the productivity. One of the reasons that we do that, because we can send the trucks who are not manned, which are not manned or unhuman, with no human in the trucks, directly of doing the blasting. Because you know that when we do the blasting in these tunnels, you need to have some time to evacuate the harmful gases. But if you have machines without a human, you can send it right away. So this brings a lot of productivity for the customers. It's a project that is going on now and then. We send the trucks and they bring it back for our engineers to fine-tuning and send it back to the tunnel again. It's a very difficult working situation for these trucks. It's humid, it's dark, and it's cold. A third project that we have is coming from Brazil, sugar canes. This is a self-driving truck. While the truck is following the harvester, then the driver putting off his or her hands from the steering wheel, following a line already mapped with a coordination system, by that avoiding damage on the plants for the coming years of the sugar cane. Because maybe you see it in the picture, the harvester, when it does the harvesting, then it keeps some baby plants for the next year to grow up. And body drivers are trampling above these plants and damage it. It's expected that the damage today per truck about 8,000 euro. That will be saved for these customers. The fourth project that we are working when it comes to automation with is the platooning. You've seen in the animation there are the buses that do the platooning. We can do it for the trucks as well, and we've done it. We've demonstrated. 2 years ago, we went all the way to Rotterdam. Holland was the head of the European Union at that time with a platoon, just to show that it's possible to do platooning across borders. The technology behind the platooning is that you establish wireless contact between 2 to 3 vehicles to start with. That allows you to close the gap between the trucks while they are running on the highway, reducing the gaps. That will be beneficial in terms of less fuel consumption. And it brings about 7 to 10% less fuel consumption in that case. Depends on the speed, depends on how much you are able to platoon. So we are working very, very intensively with this kind of solution. Then when it comes to the electromobility and our environmental impact, as you know, environmental care is one of Volvo's core values. But if I start with another end, do you have any idea how much oil we consume as a human being per second globally? Any guess? Okay, I will guide you. 200 tons a second. Maybe that doesn't say much for you. We are draining the volume of Olympic swimming pool each 15 seconds. And we know that this type of sources is endable. So again, Ian mentioned that we're working with the fuel consumption and increasing the efficiency. We have measured the last 30 years, we have reduced the fuel consumption for our trucks with the rate of 1% a year. We have the same plans to keep the rate for the coming 15 years as well. But we do it in what is called, within Volvo's language, two-path strategy. One, to increase the efficiency in the existing technology, to make the engine more efficient, to make the gearbox more efficient, to improve the aerodynamic for our cabs, for the trucks as a whole. The second path we do with alternative fuel. Today, we are looking into what kind of alternative fuels that we will use to reduce the CO2 emission. And we have put, this is the good thing with the oil when it comes to it's a mature product, or it's a mature sources. You need to find something that match the oil or the fuel, the fossil fuel, when it comes to its availability, when it comes to the environmental impact, when the prices as well. And as we see it, there is no single energy source that match this. So that's why we try to use more than one energy sources in our trucks. We have introduced what's called concept truck. This truck will reduce the emission by 30%. We use the power cell in this and batteries, charging the batteries with a renewable source of energy. And not only that, we have improved even the aerodynamic for this truck, and by that we reach the less fuel reduction with 30%. Again, this is a concept truck that we are built up with many technological or futuristic technological concepts that we are working with. While we are speaking here, there is activities going on in Barcelona in Spain for the launching of the LNG, liquefied natural gases, taking place there, because we choose to introduce the LNG in some selected European markets. It's a Euro 6, by the way, and I know that there's a potential to introduce it in Singapore, and we have in the plans along the roadmap to come with the LNG solution even for the Singaporean market. This is a view that you have not seen in Singapore yet, but you will see quite soon. Because our sister business unit, Volvo Buses, has won a tender for the Ministry of Transport to deliver 50 units of these buses, the hybrid buses, to reduce the CO2 emission in Singapore. The other thing with Volvo buses, if you don't know that since several years they have fully electrical buses running in some European cities. One of them is Gothenburg. That makes it easy for our part when it comes to Volvo trucks to copy-paste this technology and put it on our trucks. And you will hear, I can assure you, you will hear very soon about our plans when it comes to the electrical trucks. The question that you may put, why we start with these trucks, with the distribution trucks, with the city trucks? Because if we look into the fuel consumption for these trucks, it's much higher per ton and kilometer compared with the long haul. This is one thing. Because always the case, there's auxiliary energy consumption in these trucks, if it's a crane or if it's temperature regulated box or tail lift or whatever. So that will make a lot of difference by reducing the CO2 in cities, improving the air quality. In addition, they are very quiet. So in the not that far future, you will see we come out with communication when it comes to our policy, how we will handle this, and which market we will introduce these trucks for. It's time for me to sum up. As you see, we are facing together challenges today, but we rely on our innovation capacity and capability to produce solutions for these challenges. If we look 100 years ago, the truck were more or less standalone. It has mechanical control, and it's almost the case that's driven only with petroleum fuel. We see a future in which the trucks will be interconnected, it will be electrically controlled, and use different energy resources to be driven. And we expect the coming 10 years it will be so much changes in the transport industry that is equivalent to last 50 years. Our promise is to keep driving progress. Again, as Ian said, that this is our promise to you, that improving and improving and improving from the 1928 we've started till the future, because we see that you are relied on our innovation capacity to produce solutions that get benefit for your business. Thank you very much.